Hey guys, this is Gaurav Sharma, and today we're going to be talking about Cisco's Zero Trust strategy. As we all know, Zero Trust is a buzzword in market these days. Everyone wants to have Zero Trust. Everyone is talking about Zero Trust, but Zero Trust means different things to different people. For Cisco, Zero Trust is an architecture. It's not a product that one device fixes it all, one product fixes it all. It's an architecture. And Cisco has bucketized its Zero Trust strategies in three W's: workforce, workload, and workplace. Workforce, we're protecting our users. Workload, we're protecting our applications that are sitting in cloud or on premise, and then we're protecting our workplace. We're protecting our workplace with um, who's getting access to what in the network, and how are we managing things that are coming in, and how are we putting control on them. Today, we're going to be talking about the workforce piece of Cisco's Zero Trust strategy. And within workforce, we're going to be talking about specifically Cisco Umbrella. Before we dive deeper into it, Cisco Workforce is about protecting the users in your environment. And that could be done with so many different ways. Where we have in Cisco's portfolio, you have Cisco Umbrella, that's trying to protect the users that are going to internet and managing it that way. We have Cisco endpoints, Cisco secure email, Meraki, and Duo, which are going to be our topic of discussion in our coming videos. But today we're going to be looking at Umbrella, right? So, as I said, Cisco Umbrella helps us manage the traffic, the users that are sending the traffic to internet. Now I want to talk about cloud security, right? So cloud security um, is a confusing word, because when I say cloud security, are we talking about the security within the cloud, or are we talking about uh, securing the users or connections that are trying to go to cloud to access resources? So Umbrella is the cloud security. When we call it, it's Cisco's cloud security offering. This is specifically talking about securing and managing the users that are trying to access internet or cloud-based applications. And now let's see how it does that, right? So on the left here, we're gonna just dive deeper into it. As you see, this is the dashboard of Cisco Umbrella. On the left, you see just an overview, but this is a demo machine, so you wouldn't see any traffic coming in. But we wanted to show you what the policies look like, right? So here you see DNS policy, firewall policy, web policy, DLP policy. I want to take a quick minute and kind of talk about these. So when Cisco acquired OpenDNS, uh, Cisco Umbrella came with DNS policies. And over the time, we've developed the product, and we have included Secure Web Gateway and Cisco Cloud delivered firewall as well into it, which means Firewall Policy. Web Policy is basically Secure Web Gateway. And then DLP is a new feature that has just been introduced, and it is now available. Um, be able to so that you're able to control what gets saved in your environment, what kind of data are we saving, what kind of data are we not retaining. We'll get into it once we get there, but let's just quickly look at the DNS policy here. Let's try to create a DNS policy, so it will give you an idea of what exactly we're going to be securing. So I like how intuitive it is, where when you click on add, it says how would you like to be protected, and within that you can specify your access control, your block thread. You want access control, you're controlling the access that's coming in, application control, you want to block the threads, and these are like by default, these are the options. So you click on advanced settings, it will show you more options about SSL decryption, logging, and all that good stuff. You click on next. You specify the users you want this DNS policy to be applied to. Say I want to apply to these 80 users. I'm going to click on next. And in here, it shows what kind of features have we enabled for categories to block in the security settings, right? So here, malware is getting blocked, command and control callbacks are getting blocked, phishing attack. We can edit this and we can add, say for example, newly seen domains as well, or whatever our requirement is. We can do it all from here and just save. Yeah, that's fine. We could have created a different policy, but we're just gonna edit the default policy here. And then we'll go to next. Here, this is the limit content access. If you do low, it's going to be pretty generic. As you go moderate to high, it's going to block more categories. And then you can also do like custom category block as well. So you can do custom and you can select the categories from here. Just select that. I want to put it on high. Click on next. If there are any specific applications you're trying to control, you can select all those from here. You can select all that. Click on next. Destination list is basically, it's talking about, it's basically defining the destination to where we're going, right? So if it's going to one specific network and you want to allow stuff versus if it goes to another network you want to block, you can specify all those settings here. Click on next. Want to do a file inspection on the traffic that's coming in, you can do that. That's just a block page setting. When you get blocked based on a category or something that you're trying to access, you can just specify it from here. You can customize it, make it your company logo, whatever, or you will just leave it to be Umbrella default appearance. Just put my DNS policy. And here this is basically a summary of what things, identities that are affected, the destination list that it's enforced to, the security settings that are applied, contents settings that are applied, and then we're logging events. Just hit save. So now we just created a DNS policy with all the categories that we saw. Well, when we talk about the order of operation, right? So we want to, the first level of control is obviously the DNS level policies, DNS policies. So when the traffic is coming in, the DNS policy will be applied. If anything that's allowed in DNS policy, it's not blocked right away. It goes next to the firewall policy, as you can see on the left here. So let's see what we have in the firewall policy. This firewall policy is essentially a cloud-delivered firewall, as the name suggests. You're putting a firewall on the traffic that's getting to the internet, right? So, based like it's in the description, it says use this policy to control the traffic based on IP port or protocol. You can do that from here, right? So I want to say my firewall policy. You can select the priority order of the access control entries that you put in. So that's how it's going to kick in based on the priority that you set. You're able to set protocols here. Application, if we're trying to block or allow any specific application, you can specify that from here. and then source port, destination port. Just gonna just put any. You can make it time based as well if you want to set this rule to kick in at a certain time and end it at a specific time. You can do so from here. If you want to keep it permanent, you just leave it as does not expire, and then you can select the action of the rule, allow or block. It's pretty straightforward, and you're just gonna save. You can now. I just created a firewall policy that that has an action allow. I could have specified specific ports here, protocol ports. Logging is disabled. You could enable login as well. And then on the top right, you see IPS settings. Um, you can specify if you want to keep the IPS on or not, and if you want to turn it on, you want it to be in detection mode or protection mode, right? So do you want it to work as an IDS or IPS? Um, the main difference, as you probably know, in detection, we're just in a monitor mode. We're going to be looking at what's going through. We're going to be recording it, and we're going to let you know about it. But we're not going to take any action to fix that problem or any malware or anything that comes in, right? So, but for protection, it's gonna, if it sees something, if an IPS signature gets hit, it will take corrective action, and it's gonna try to block that traffic. Apply to signature. So here, um, what kind of signature list, IPS signature list, are you gonna apply for, right? So here, what's been selected by default has been connectivity over security. Um, Based on the requirement, you can do balanced or security over connectivity or maximum detection. What it means is more you go towards security over connectivity, it's going to go farther out in the past and enable more signatures in your environment. So something like if there was a signature or a malware that was there 10 years back, um, which would have been fixed by now, or you would still have that signature enabled as well. So that's the basic difference in how and when you select what kind of signature list you want to apply here. Once you do that, just hit on save. That's good, looking good. And here coming next, so whatever gets allowed in DNS policy comes for further investigation in firewall policy, and whatever gets allowed in firewall policy goes on to web policy. So which is basically your layer 7. It's a proxy, so everything is going to a proxy, and from there, we're basically looking to the traffic and identifying what kind of policy that we need to apply on that web traffic. So if we enable a rule, let's see, add rule, and my web policy, rule action, block. You can add identity, who you want it to be applied to, apply. You can click the destination of where exactly. If you can create a specific, you can block based on specific destination list, meaning if your traffic is going to this specific network or IP address, this is when this should come. This web policy should kick in, or you could just do it on based on categories or applications. From here, say alcohol. And if you want to put it like any schedule, you want it to this policy to run at a specific time, you can do that from here, any specific time, any day. I find it really helpful because at say after hours, if you don't want if you don't expect a certain activity to be happening in your environment, so for example, a huge file transfer in the after hours, that's gonna raise some eyebrows. It's like, hey, why is there a huge transfer of data, bulk data, that's happening after hours while when no one's supposed to be in office and working? So you can specify those rules here. Click on save, and here these are like additional settings. So if you want to enable like the file inspection, HTTPS inspection. So HTTPS inspection is basically your SSL decryption. You want to look into the HTTPS packet and rewrite something with your own with your own certificate or something. You're able to do all that from here. Now all these settings are good. In the security setting, um, you can select more options from here. If you click on settings, malware, command and control, phishing attack, all this good stuff here. So I think by default you have the four settings that are there and which are all enabled. Once you have that, um, this is the pack file for the proxy. Once you have that, hmm, let's see. You must select at least one rule set identity to enable this rule set. Okay, here, just set the rule set identity and save. And close. Come on, close. All right, there we go. Now we've just set up our web policy as well. Now, just let's take a look at the DLP policy. It's a new feature. There was a request from a long time that we included it. Now we have. It's basically controlling the kind of data that we are able to upload to the web. As you could say here, it would say DLP policy can monitor or block the data being uploaded to the web. Yeah, so it kind of goes back to the compliance piece, right? So for HIPAA compliance or for healthcare and like PCI for a financial institute where you don't want to store any um, say for example, credit card information. For HIPAA, you don't want to save any PII uh, to be able to just be compliant here. So you can just create a policy, my DLP policy. So you're putting it in monitor mode. You want to just watch. You want to just get the information about it, or you want to block the stuff that's getting uploaded. You can specify it from here, and which users you want it to be applied to, which network, and in the data classification, this data classification you are able to configure in the policy component on the left. As you see here on the left, data classification, this is where it's coming from. And let's see here, uh, test classification, data classification policy that's been set up here. We're just going to use this one. So what it says is do not. It says look for the data identifier: credit card and drug name and health condition, date of birth, email address, IP address. Just an example, right? The things that you want to create as an identifier, and based on that, you want to apply like allow or block the traffic. You can do all that, right? So from here, you can click on all destination. You want to make sure it scans all the outbound requests, or you can specify a specific destination list. You can do all that from here, and just click on save. All right, guys. So this is, in a nutshell, what how Cisco Umbrella secures your internet connections, the users that are going to internet, and how it kind of ties back to the workforce piece of Zero Trust and secure your users and workforces. I hope this was helpful for you guys. We will be talking about the other components of workforce in the coming videos. Thank you and stay tuned.